Many blessings to all of you. How are you today? I hope that you guys are doing really well. I am sitting with a beautiful sunset candle made with, I want to say green tea and sandalwood. And it's made by Painted Swan. It has a beautiful inscription. You probably cannot see it. There you go. And it is again made by Painted Swan. I'm not really sure. It smells delightful. Anyway, it was a gift, so I'm not really sure where to pick it up. But if you want to trust me on it, it smells absolutely wonderful. And I love candles. I've shared that before. I love incense. I love aromatherapy. I think it's an amazing tool, part of a practice and a ritual to just open up a field, to make set an intention that we're ready to make a connection. And I've always used them as part of my ritual, my spiritual practice, and that's why I like to introduce the candles and incense that I'm using. I was inspired to stop and make a little video today. I've received so many emails and private messages over the last week. So first of all, I want to thank everyone who's reached out to support the channels that I work on, Emerald Paradigm with Lunanade, my own channel on YouTube, and all the other work that I do. And I'm so very happy that it's finding some resonation with you, the Patreon channel, all of that good stuff. Anyway, so some of the questions, so many questions, but one of the questions that kind of caught me this week was, how did I begin my own connection? And you know, there's never a right or wrong way to connect. Actually, the greatest protocol is a willingness to want to make a divine connection. And once that is in place, then we start opening up the vortex, the field, to make that happen. And, you know, we can learn from each other, of course, of what we put in place and what practices we practice, or the tools that we use. But really, it's, again, I think it's about just showing up, you know, and knowing that when you do, you will start experiencing the opening of that connection. I am sitting with a selenite wand. Selenite is a very cosmic stone, crystal. It's amazing. It's, to me, I feel like it's a cosmic antenna. It's very fluid. It's very cosmic, and I don't use selenite very often unless I really want to open up that incredible cosmic field, which, you know, in my own practice, I'm so connected to it. When I'm doing work with someone, if I really feel that they're struggling to make that cosmic connection, I will use a selenite. And when I'm doing healings, when I'm performing healings, I actually love to use a grounding stone such as jasper, tiger's eye, something rugged and earthy. And then I also use a selenite. In the opposite, I place the stone under each palm of the receiver. And the reason why I do that is because I want to open for them a spiritual cosmic portal, but I also want them to have a grounding connection with the Mother Earth, and to be able to, you know, create a balance between those two energies, as above, so below. But I'm sitting with a selenite today because one of the questions that I was asked was how I began my own spiritual practice, and it began by communicating with angels. And for some, angels is something very, you know, a critical part of their spiritual practice, and for some, It may sound a little whimsical, talking to angels, and well, there is an array, legions upon legions of angels that are available to us, and we only have to be willing to start making those connections, and in a very short period of time, you will start to be the witness of the connections, the synchronicity, the messages, the everything that starts to uh, manifest in your life once you are willing to make that connection. And angels are, I find, one of the easiest ways to start creating a spiritual foundation, a platform. They're very whimsical, although some angels could be very serious. They really want to communicate with you, and they need an invitation. Even though they're always around us, we have angels that protect us, that guide us, that direct us, that inspire us. But they're sort of in the background, and as in many parts of our spiritual development, willingness is our greatest protocol. And when we want to communicate with angels, we have to call them into our lives. And we could do that in so many different ways, believing, having an open heart, being excited, posing questions, and just being very expanded with the way you communicate. There's no definitive right or wrong way to do it. It's almost like having a conversation with a good friend. And the way I connected actually with my guardian angel many years ago was through meditation, and actually asking my guardian angel to give me a sign that it was around. And ironically, what happened was I actually heard the vibration of a name came into my consciousness, and the name was Daniel. And I found it unusual because I didn't know anyone, named Daniel. And so I found it odd that that name would pop into my space, but I said, okay. Anyway, I had meditated early in the morning when the name came to me, and I stepped out to run a couple of errands, and when I came home, there was a message on my recorder, and I hit the play button, and it simply said, "Hey, it's me, Daniel, call me." And it just took my breath away. There was no return number. It was a recorder, a message recorder. That's how long it was. And so there was no way to retrieve the number where the phone call was made. And quite simply, I didn't need it because it took me just but a few minutes to make the connection that I had asked my guardian angel to give me a sign. And just a few hours later, somebody leaves a message with the name Daniel. Anyway, that was the beginning of an amazing love affair between me and my angel. And from that point on, a lot of the dialogue that I had, the way I had the dialogue, I should say, was either through journal writing, automatic writing, and through meditation. And what I mean by journal writing, I would actually keep a journal, and I would start off by just sharing my day, my thoughts, my feelings. And before you know it, it was almost as if I got into a trance, and then Daniel would start speaking to me and guiding me and giving me insight. And it was the angels actually who also inspired me to begin writing. And I think that that's amazing, in that if somebody would have ever told me that I was going to be writing or write books in the future, I would have laughed in their faces, because I never had any talent or desire to write. But of course, looking back now, what began as that nudge to start writing articles and to start sharing my experiences has become now a platform with 16 self-help books. And so they do guide us, is the point that I'm trying to make. And so again, I'm sitting with this selenite because there's different tools that we can use. Again, meditation, just sitting in a quiet place and just slowly entering into that place of serenity and just inviting your angels to come in with no expectations, and all at the same time being open. You know, I just shared with you how my angelic communication with my guardian angel validated itself. And so we just have to be open. You know, you may hear a name, or you may receive a message that will soon validate itself. Just be open to the synchronicities, the connections that may follow, someone who pops into your life, a certain desire or yearning or pull to something after making that communication, because most of the time that's what happens, that as soon as we make the petition, the angels will start creating circumstances and just connections for us to start engaging deeper into that place. You know, I have a phone session later this evening, and the person who reached out to make that phone session said to me that they kept hearing, I believe from their angels, that they needed to have conversation with me. And I really celebrated them, because that's what I'm talking about, that, you know, we start receiving these nudges, and you know, if we ask for guidance or for directions, then it's really important that we also follow through, whatever the message may be, whether it's to study, whether it's to work more on the self or healing, you know, to refocus or reach out to someone. You know, it's very important that we follow the hunches and that we follow the steps, because they're leading us to somewhere greater. And anyway, if you are a crystal, you know, avid of crystals, like working with crystals, then I believe that selenite is definitely a powerful tool to use to open up the field, the cosmic field, where the angels, of course, are primarily reside. You can hold the selenite, you can use it in meditation, you know, you can set intentions with it, and I like to actually use it as a wand, you know, to just move the energy and just to make my intentions. I'm opening up the field. This is a very powerful healing tool as well that I use when necessary in my healing sessions for others. And anyway, so I hope that you're inspired by some of the sharing that I shared today regarding communications with angels. Remember that there's nothing special or specific that you need to do in order to connect. What you need to do is to be ready and to feel the eagerness in your heart, not to compare your experiences with others, and remember that we all receive information and assimilate it in different ways. And so many people could hear messages, others can feel it, some can see, you know, energy. And so honor your very unique way in which you process and receive messages. And I would highly suggest that you keep a journal of your experiences as you start to open that pathway to communicate with your angels, because a lot of times information and insight is actually given to us, and when we're in that zone that we enter when we're journal writing, a lot of that information is actually captured in your journal entries. It's very fascinating, very interesting, but I would always wait about a week or so and read my journal entries, and trust me when I tell you that I found a lot of insight, and I found a lot of cues to the questions that I was posing right in my journal entries. So make sure that if you're inspired to start journal writing, it doesn't have to be, pages and pages. Maybe sometimes you're inspired to, but other times maybe it could just be a sentence or two or a paragraph. But the opening of that practice is a very helpful one. Yes? And so this is a short video, but I hope that it finds some resonance for you. I'd love to hear if you're already communicating with your angels and what practices and tools may have worked for you. You can share it in the comments section. Of course, in our sharing, we also help others. And I hope that my sharing today helped you. And I will be back. I know that some people have asked me to share some insight or shares on other civilizations. I'm kind of splitting up some of the material that I'm sharing here and some of the mystery teachings in my Patreon page. I've shared that in other videos, and of course I want to thank those who are supporting that channel. And if you're interested in learning more about like the higher dimensions or other civilizations or the mystery teachings, then I definitely invite you to take a look at the Patreon channel. And I thank again all those who are supporting me there. Okay, you guys, I hope that you have an amazing day. And until next time, as always, I leave you with cosmic energy and with cosmic love, peace, sending you much love, light, and harmony. Until next time, love you.